Tampa, but he had to get a little lucky to do so.
Yeah, he did.
So we'll see if David Thomas can keep up the David train with blue black here.
The David train. I like the David train.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're
Whoa.
already game in progress. Okay, so looks like Joseph has out a Glint Hawk, a Signal Pest, and a Glint Hawk Idol.
Yep. Along with the Plains and a Township, David Thomas just building his real estate with 3 lands.
Now, David Thomas is probably hoping, he's probably holding back for a Manlick here and trying to get a Tempered Steel.
Yep.
And his plan next turn, see, like, this is a situation where you want to be able to Black Sun Zenith, but you're really not getting a whole lot.
Exactly.
You know,
Glint Hawk Idol is just so good against blue black.
Yeah, it's funny that Glint Hawk Idol is just this amazing card. And let's see if David, if he has a Mana Leak for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
boy.
He didn't have one of his 4 Mana Leaks or 2 Dissipates.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty scary. Now, the Glint Hawk Idol cannot attack this turn unless he plays a Mem Knight or something.
Right.
So he's, you know, the Tempered Steel is not getting in, you know, it's only 2 extra damage.
Right. So it looks like David Thomas has not even a go for the throat here for that Glint Hawk. It looks like he kept a hand that was good versus control, bad versus aggro.
Yeah. Forbidden Alchemy.
Yep.
What is he looking for this Forbidden Alchemy?
A
Ratchet
miracle.
Bomb.
Ratchet Bomb is probably the answer. He'll need.
It takes a turn for Ratchet Bomb, but at least, you know,
Right.
if he has a Tragic Clip or something, he might be able to maybe a Go for Throat and a Tragic Slip would be really good.
That's exactly what he needs. He needs those 2, followed by a quick Ratchet Bomb, a quick Curse, something to stem the bleeding here.
And, you know, he get Black Sun Zenith for 2 right there, but it's
Yeah, it's not that great.
It's not going to do much. You know, it's going to stem the bleeding, but it's not going to fix it.
Exactly. David Thomas doesn't really have any trumps here. If he gets up to 6, he can tap out for Grave Titan, but he'll likely just die to the Flyers on the turn he does that.
because Joseph has nothing but Flyers out right now.
Yeah. And there's an
champion, another card that's really going to be hard for David to beat.
Yeah.
Oh, and
wow,
it sticks.
It's all resolving. David Thomas this game only with a Forbidden Alchemy.
This is not looking good.
No.
Go for Throat.
Yep.
All right. So does he have the Tragic Slip to follow it up? He
No.
does not.
Wow.
Boy, he's
David Thomas takes 7. Goes to 6 life. Facing down a very lethal attack next turn.
yeah, and he doesn't have anything like a Wormcoil to hope to do something.
No, David Thomas has absolutely no life gain in his deck.
Yeah, this is not looking good. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Now, you might recognize David Thomas's name. He's top-aided a few standard opens before, notably playing Solar Flare. That was his deck of choice. That was back last year, maybe October-ish, December, in that era, that Solar Flare. Joseph Obed, I don't think has too many accomplishments on the Star City circuit.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't recognize his name. Oh, what is he playing?
Looks like a Black Sun.
Black Sun seems to be off screen. Yeah, it's a Black Sun. Which, you know, again, good card, but it is not enough to actually take out the Edge Champion, who is still going to be a 1/1.
Right.
Now, it no longer has protection.
That's true, yeah.
But he's, you know, without any, without people, by being tapped out, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has no way to take advantage of that.
So David Thomas looking to go to 1 life this turn, facing down against Glint Hawk Idol and Edge Champion.
And it looks like Joseph has another Edge Champion.
Yeah, he does. So David Thomas is going to be really hard-pressed to beat this here. It's one of the very hardest matchups. Yeah, it looks like Joseph Obed, best known for playing Fairies. Back in the day, back when it was still playing Pestermite.
Those were good days.
Notorious Throng.
Simpler
wow.
days.
Throwback.
All right, so is he going to lead with the Edge Champion? That's what it's looking like, and he does. Which lets him get in for 5 damage. And it is going to take a miracle for David Thomas to pull this out. Not even sure if a miracle will do it at this point.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he can have here. Don't think anything.
You know, he can Black Sun for a few,
No.
but he's still going to lose to that Glint Hawk Idol. When he packs it in.
Yeah, so Joseph Obed takes game 1 perfectly at 20 life.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's probably going to happen a lot in this matchup.
Yeah, I think so. Usually if David Thomas is doing the Tempered Steel deck damage, he's just winning with Grave Titan.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're looking at sideboards. Let's look at Joseph Obed's deck first.
Okay.
Okay, what does he have in his sideboard? He's got an Oblivion Ring. Let's see, Shrine of Loyalty just might be good in this matchup.
Yeah, he definitely has a lot of options. The Shrines are sort of a mainstay in the Tempered Steel sideboard, but they're not very good against Curse of Death's Hold.
That's true.
I think if Joseph's bringing in the Shrine, he also has to bring in some combination of his Ray of Revelations, Oblivion Rings, and Revoke Existences.
Yeah, Ray, I could see him bringing Ray in.
Yeah, he has one of each of those, so he definitely has his choice on what removal he wants to bring in. Revoke also kills Ratchet Bomb, which is sometimes relevant.
It is pretty relevant when you're trying to protect like your 3 drops, because on 3 he of course has Etched Champion and Tempered Steel, which are 2 of the best cards in his deck against the blue-black control deck.
Right. Joseph Obed also has 2 Hero of Blade Hold, 1 Sword of Feast and Famine, and an extra land to go with the heroes. I have to imagine we'll see him bring those in as well.
All right, so what is David going to do? He's obviously going to take out those, probably going to take out those Go for the Throats. Maybe he leaves them in because he's afraid of Hero or something.
Yeah, he might want 1 available to Snapcaster it, but he can definitely cut him.
He does have 2 Batter Skulls and a Worm Coil.
Yeah, we'll see those for sure. Other than that, though, he doesn't have too much to fight the Tempered Steel deck. He has Bloodline Keepers. Those are all right. He might bring those in just because he has a good amount of suboptimal cards against the Tempered Steel. So I imagine we'll see that. Taking out, though, that's an interesting question. A card like Mana Leak is actually pretty good against Tempered Steel.
See, I think that maybe I think the Jace Memory deck definitely goes out.
Yeah. Think Twice, not really an impressive card versus Tempered Steel. Dave wants to use his mana every turn, not on drawing cards. I think we'll see him take some of those out. Some number of draw spells. I'm not sure about the number, but we'll see some number of those come out. Liliana is also a pretty unimpressive card.
It's not horrible.
Right.
It's like if you're going to spend 3 mana, there are worse things you could do for 3 mana. But you're right, it is not incredibly impressive.
Yeah, it really pales in the face of Glinthawk Idol and Inkmoth Nexus too.
Right.
So.
And usually what it ends up being really is black 1, target player sacrifices a creature, and
gain 2 life.
Yeah, gain 2 life. That's about the best you're usually going to get with Jace or with Liliana.
Which isn't bad.
No, it's not bad. But is that the card that's going to get him over the top in this matchup?
Right. He definitely has a lot of cards to side out if he wants.
It's a little better in this game because he's on the play.
Yes.
And if you can get in a position where maybe Joseph gets a slightly slower draw, then Liliana really can take control of that game.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I definitely expect to see Liliana out on the draw. I think we'll see it in on the play. Or at least that's what I think should happen anyway.
I like that choice. It's good.
So in the matchup overall, you think Joseph has a pretty big advantage?
I think Joseph has a pretty good advantage. I mean, I think that David being on the play is huge for him. And, he's got a better shot this game. 3rd game being on the draw is what's really going to be very rough.
Yeah. If Joseph loses this game, David Thomas will still have to break serve in game 3, which it's really tough for him to do that. I really like Joseph Obed's list. I think the Spellskites are an interesting choice, one that we don't see that often in Tempered Steel. But even with the Tempered Steel in play, they still attack for 2.
Yeah.
They become arachnids.
And so they're drawing their hands, and it looks like Joseph has... Does he have any land in his hand?
There might be one under that 20, but I don't see any on the right there.
Yeah, it looks like a Signal Pest and a... what else is in there? I saw a Spellskite and a Memnite. And if he has 1 land, this is probably a keepable hand. And it looks like he did keep, so hopefully he does have that land. Woodrow Township, so that gives him... Oh, yep, an Inkmoth Nexus, so he's probably going to lead off Memnite, Signal Pest.
I'm a little interested to see Signal Pest still in Joseph Obed's deck. That's usually one of the weaker cards in the Steel deck. We usually see those sided out.
Yeah, especially in this game where he has to worry about the evasion is not a big deal, and he has to worry about Curse of Death's Hold and Ratchet Bomb and Black Sun Zenith all really taken out very easily.
Right. So David Thomas, 2 Drowned Catacombs. Joseph Obed plays a Spellskite and attacks for 2.
This is pretty much where David Thomas wants to be.
Yeah.
In terms of scary leads, this one is not too bad. Now, Joseph cannot play Tempered Steel next turn. He just doesn't have the white mana for it. The worst you can really do is play a champion, and David Thomas, if he does that, David Thomas can just play a Black Sun Zenith and wipe his most of his board, leaving just a -2/2 Spellskite.
Yeah, yeah. I think David Thomas wouldn't have necessarily played a Black Sun there. Might have saved it. Joseph does not really have a threatening board.
No, I'm saying if Joseph plays another threat, then he's just going to get black. He can easily get Black Sun Zenith away.
Right.
And there, yep, there's a Shrine of Loyal Legions, which is going to get negated.
Negated. Interesting choice to bring in from David Thomas.
It is.
That doesn't hit too many cards in Joseph's deck. Tempered Steels, and then cards that he doesn't really care about, like Mox Opal and Origin Spellbound.
Well, I think that Dave Thomas is the card he's most concerned about is the Tempered Steel, because without Tempered Steel in play, that Curse of Death's Hold takes out a lot of his deck.
That's true. So,
and if he can just keep him off that one card, he can, Curse is just going to really dominate the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Joseph still is the best he can do is Plains Mox to actually play a Tempered Steel. So, David's not too worried at this point.
No, Joseph can only attack for 3. That 1/4 Spellskite getting in for a point. And Joseph Obed with a Signal Pass.
Another Signal Pass. This, oh boy, he is going all out.
I think I would have preferred to attack with an Ink Moth there, almost. Just to play around Black Sun.
If David has the Black Sun, or he can just play a Curse of Death's Hold right here.
Right.
And just, Curse would take is a 4-for-1. Black Sun Zenith is a 4-for-1.
Yeah, this looks like Black Sun mana.
Yeah, looks like Black Sun for 1.
Sun for 1 with 2 mana open to counter anything that Joseph Obed might play.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Joseph.
Joseph will bin 4 creatures. David Thomas still at a healthy 12, facing down an 0/3 Spellskite.
Right.
With counter mana up.
Now, do you think Joseph should have gone all out there? I mean,
no,
with the way his hand is stacking up, does he need to just get in there?
I don't think so. Especially when David Thomas is main phasing Forbidden Alchemy for a land, I think that signifies his hand is full of gas. I probably would have played a little slower.
Play the control, Tempered Steel matchup.
Usually not what you want to do when playing against blue-black, but in that situation, I think I would have.
That's fair.
So Joseph with a non-metal
Batterskull.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and it does not look like Joseph has anything in his hand that's going to deal with Batterskull.
No.
Now, if he plays another artifact, he can, the champion will negate Batterskull.
Yeah, it will. And I think Joseph has another champion in hand, so if he plays champion here, he'll have 1 attacking champion and 1 blocking champion, and all
Which
of a sudden,
is good for him.
Yeah, he's back in the game if he has that.
And he does.
So I would like to see him attack here. We'll see if he does.
It looks like it.
Yeah. With that Spellskite in play, there's not a lot that David Thomas can do.
Right. I mean, the only thing he has to worry about, I guess there isn't much you could do.
Black Sun Zenith?
Because even if he managed to kill the Spellskite, he can just activate the Inkmoth Nexus and it's still protection.
Right. He has backup there.
Right. But now, David now's in a position where he needs a Cursor of Black Sun is going to really take this game over.
Yeah, a Ratchet Bomb would probably be fast enough. Yep, so attack block. Nothing happens. David Thomas has to test Joseph.
Yep, that germ is in fact black.
Yep. I mean, basically David had to think, you never know, maybe Joseph Obed will forget that this germ's black.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go for it. The potential downside's pretty low.
Yep. So David Thomas with a main phase Forbidden Alchemy here. Looks like he's trying to build his mana base up, maybe to cast a Grave Titan.
Maybe, or maybe he's searching for a Black Sun or a
Liliana,
like
maybe.
Yeah, he needs something to get rid of those champions.
Yeah. Now Joseph Obed can only attack for 2 per turn, unless of course he draws a green source, in which case it'll be 3, then 4 per turn. For that Gavin Township.
You're right. He gets to now, play a more controlling deck. And there's not a whole lot he can do, except for sit around and say, okay, well, whenever you get your, I'm just going to play until you get your Wrath of God.
Right, and there's that Razor Verge thicket right there. So
next turn,
Joseph Obed.
Now he probably should get another artifact into play because he really can't activate that township just yet. Because if he does, then he's and he risks the spell sky dying and then being able to block that token.
Definitely true. We'll see what Joseph has for his last card. I think it might have been a Glinthawk that I saw.
I did see a Glinthawk.
And I'm not sure I like him casting that right here.
Yeah, I agree.
That just leaves David.
I guess he can just return Spellskite, play Spellskite. If David has a Tragic Slip or something, or I guess even Tragic Slip doesn't kill anything.
Yeah, that's actually not too bad. It seems like it's bad at first, but the fact that David Thomas tapped out really makes it not too bad.
And there's not a whole lot he can do, and even if he does...
Mana Leak is about the only card.
Yeah, he can always just tap the Ink Moth and activate itself and keep those two guys with protection.
So activates Ink Moth.
And returns Ink Moth.
So David Thomas now has an opening. Joseph Obed with only 3 artifacts in play. We'll see if David Thomas can capitalize. Really, though, Thomas doesn't have that much that even targets Spellskite and kills it.
No, he doesn't.
Go for the throats, Tragic Slips. These don't do it.
Right. He would have to... I don't know.
Yeah, there's
something. He can always attack and then attempt to do something in response.
Yep.
If he still has... He probably does not still have to go for the throats, but if he does, he could... kill that Glinthawk.
Yeah, David Thomas needs to slam a Grave Titan here.
Kill the Glinthawk and then Tragic Slip something, and he's in great shape then.
Yeah.
And even Grave Titan doesn't do a whole lot. I mean,
I
think that David can probably, or Joseph can probably still race the Grave Titan.
Yeah, it doesn't win the race, but it wins the race in conjunction with the Black Sun.
Yeah, with the Black Sun, it definitely does win the race. We just have to get to that point.
Yeah, exactly. David Thomas, it seemed like he was really in control after he Black Sunned away those creatures, but 2 Etch champions really trying to take over the game.
Again, it really shows that this Tempered Steel deck, there's so many cards that are just amazing against Blue-Black control.
Yeah,
Blue-Black control, being such a popular deck for the last few weeks, people are, it might be good to play Tempered Steel and just go after that part of the format.
Yeah.
We see a Bloodline Keeper, which, if the game can go longer, will protect David Thomas pretty well. But, it's got to get to that point.
And there's an image copying Spellskite.
Well.
So, maybe Etch Champion. He's trying to decide here. Now, Bloodline Keeper is really good for David Thomas because next turn he'll be able to equip Batterskull and attack, and then those Etch Champions won't be able to block.
Yeah.
Joseph Obed is going to have to pump with Gavany Township and try and race.
Right, and the Spellskite will stop the... we'll be able to actually block those Etch Champions, so...
Yeah.
Again, in conjunction with the Batterskull, this turn, this game really is turning around. So what's Joseph looking to do here? Maybe a Dispatch? Play Dispatch?
I think he'll have sided that one out, though I'm not sure. He doesn't have much to target that image.
Yeah.
Not much at all. Yeah, we'll see how Joseph plays this here. If he does attack with the 2 Etch Champions, David Thomas will go to 2.
Well, no, because he can block with the Spellskite.
Block, that's right, too.
So
I was thinking that was an Etch Champion. But no, that image is copying that Spellskite.
Joseph thinking. He's doing the math right now, and he looks like he's coming in with both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Glinthawk. So.
Desperate times.
Yep.
Well, and I guess the Glinthawk can't be. He really can't block with Bloodline Keeper because of the Township. Now, because of that attack, he is going to get hit by Batterskull.
Right. And that actually leaves David Thomas open. He won't have to re-equip.
Yeah, I guess his hope is he just doesn't block at all. Is that a pre-block Township?
Looks like it.
That is interesting.
So there's a Spellskite blocking that Etch Champion, and David Thomas takes 6 falls to 2 life. Spellskite's still alive. So we'll see.
All right. And so now Batterskull gets in there. He's going to go. He's going to gain some life.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, do you move it over to the Bloodline Keeper just for value, or do you?
I think it all depends what David Thomas has in hand. It looks like he is, though.
Yep. He is moving over.
Here's the move, and that'll get in for 7, bringing David Thomas up to 9 life.
Yep. He is really back in this game. Now, the ball is in Joseph's court now.
Yeah, I still think Joseph does win this race. It's just a question of whether David Thomas can find a Black Sun in time. Actually, Joseph Obed is representing lethal with the Spellskite attack too. Although no, I guess that one doesn't have protection from,
right.
From all colors.
And he can't attack with the Glinthawk because the Glinthawk's going to get blocked.
Right.
Plus, he gets to make another zombie, which means, or he gets to make a
vampire.
A vampire. Yeah. So next turn he's representing 9 damage in attacks.
Right.
It is looking scary for Joseph.
So it looks like Edge Champions will come in for sure. Spellskite will have to jump in the way, unless David Thomas wants to fall to 1.
This main phasing the township. Is there an advantage to that?
I don't think so. Either way, he main phases township.
He can. Right, and I guess it doesn't really. It's not going to change anything. It's not like David just not going to block.
Right, David. It basically lets David Thomas have full knowledge of Joseph's turn, which is never good to give your opponent. But David probably knew it was coming.
Yeah, and we're now in a position of a Spellskite's going to die if it blocks, which is probably fine.
Yep, we'll probably see Spellskite jump in the way.
Yeah, and it looks like he's just doing just that. Yep.
He doesn't want to risk Joseph drawing something that can target it next turn.
Yeah, that probably is for the best.
Yeah.
Plus, he's going to be able to make a vampire, attack for 9. Or I guess probably can't attack for 9 because that vampire could just get blocked by the larger Glinthawk.
Yeah,
the vampire will block the Glinthawk next turn.
Yep. So David Thomas falls to 5 life. He'll be gaining 7 this turn, going up to 12, and it looks like he will win this race.
It is very likely.
Glinthawk will buy him 1 more turn, but you have to imagine David Thomas has an answer to a Glinthawk.
Right.
And if I'm Joseph Obed, I block with that Glinthawk right now, because you can't count on blocking next turn.
Right, and there's no way with all these vampires coming through, there's no way it's going to be able to get through.
Exactly, and this turn David Thomas has an end step flashback Forbidden Alchemy. You have to figure he'll have a way to kill that Glinthawk on his turn. Question from Greg Stewart: Are they playing Standard or Legacy? This is Standard. This is Scars of Mirrodin block and Innistrad block Standard with M12.
And it looks like he took that one.
Wow.
Went down to 4.
I think that's a big error from Joseph Obed.
Is that a Jace Memory Adept?
That is interesting to see that.
Yeah, not a card I would have kept in, but
yeah.
But there it is.
And I think that milled one and drew a card. And yeah, I'm surprised David Thomas didn't just flashback Forbidden Alchemy instead. Look for a removal spell. Maybe he hopes that Joseph will attack that Jace instead of his life total. I don't think we'll see that happening.
Yeah, it does not seem like the way to win this game.
No.
Now he does have 2 Ink Moths, so he can block that vampire for quite a while.
Right. Joseph basically has to decide now whether he wants to attack for 8 or 10. If he attacks for 8, let's see, David Thomas falls to 4, gains 7 on his next turn, going up to 11.
Well, but he can't do that because David Thomas gets to make another vampire.
Right. And
so that vampire is, the 2 vampires is 4 damage. You can only block the...
That's true.
You can just block the Bloodline Keeper, and so that would be lethal.
Right.
But he's organizing his mana that way.
Now, even if Joseph loses this game, he'll still have a game 3 on the play to try and win the match. So.
Which, again, in this matchup is just gigantic.
Yeah, being on the play is huge.
We saw in this game where if Joseph was on the play and he got an extra, 4 damage in.
Right, he would have won easily.
Yeah.
That would have been enough.
Okay, so we used tapping lands.
This does not look like Gavney Township.
No, it's not. Maybe a Glinthawk.
Glinthawk idol.
He now gets to fully get in with those Etch Champions.
Yep, without fear, and he'll have 2 blocks with Inkmoth next turn, so he'll have 4 flying blockers, 2 of them unable to be hit by Black Sun.
And it's really relevant that each one of those ink moths is going to shrink the Bloodline Keeper by 1.
Right, it is.
You know, which means that he's either got to move the Batterskull off, or he's just going to be getting less life, which gives Joseph a better chance of winning the race.
Yeah. Interesting that Joseph didn't attack first here. It gives David Thomas full information for Joseph's turn.
Oh, is he negating it? He's negating that Glenhawk.
So David Thomas sided in both negates. Have to imagine that was just a straight swap for Dissipate.
Yeah, it does seem better.
Yeah. Still though, having 6 counter spells in your deck post board, that doesn't seem that good to me.
Well, I mean, I think that it's the matchup it's the way he wants to play the matchup. He wants to basically say, you know, as long as you don't play Temper Steel, I'm going to win.
Right. And there's a Shrine of Loyal Legions. That will do absolutely nothing this game. Of course.
Unless he draws runner, white cards.
Right. Unless they somehow reach
Which
some
could happen.
sort of
this
strange parity.
This game could go for a bit longer.
Yeah. So Joseph Obed attacks for 4. Again, playing all his spells pre-combat, giving David Thomas full knowledge, but...
David makes another Vampire.
Yep. David takes that 8 damage, falls to 4 life, and we'll see what he has for this turn. We'll see if he can force that Bloodline Keeper through. Doesn't seem very likely in the face of Spellskite and 2 blockers.
This is going to be a close match. I mean, it looks like Joseph might be slightly ahead right now. All it's going to take is, you know, drawing a Tempered Steel to you know, put him pretty up there. Now, of course, the downside is that he's going to have to draw a flying blocker very soon.
Yeah, those vampires are actually pretty relevant here with Joseph at 4.
You know, so, I imagine, yeah, the Inkmoth Nexus is going to block the Bloodline Keeper, and a vampire. The Glenhawk will block a vampire. And I may not have attacked those vampires right now. I might have waited to get a third one out.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a great attack here. It sort of leaves David Thomas open a little bit, depending on what he has in hand. So Inkmoth Nexus jumps in front of Bloodline. David Thomas gains 7 life, up to 11. And Glinthawk blocks a vampire. Joseph Obed takes 2, going to 2.
In an interesting situation, David is now actually less interested in the game going long than Joseph.
Yeah, he is.
You know, David really needs this game to end in his favor very soon, because those, you know, those champions are still going to be hard for him to deal with.
Yeah.
And that attack, you know, put him a little bit behind. Now, I guess that Joseph really does need to draw a flyer here. Ooh, and that seems to be the Black Sun.
Oh, that is a Black Sun Zenith? Okay.
Yep.
That is going to be pretty good.
That's pretty brutal.
For David
That is
Thomas.
what David was playing for.
Yep,
and
so
that is what he got.
And that is a Black Sun for 3. That'll wipe the board except a 0-1 Spellskite, and now a 3-3 Bloodline Keeper.
Which,
still a big enough Bloodline Keeper.
It's just lethal, right?
Yeah, that's going to make a Vampire end of turn. That Vampire will be lethal. The Bloodline itself will be lethal.
I guess he does have one more Inkmoth Nexus, so he can block for 1 more turn. No, I guess not, because he just makes the Vampire. So he's got to draw a flyer right here.
Yeah, I think David Thomas has this game locked up.
That is not
after
the look of somebody
Sun.
who drew a flyer. No,
Yeah.
it is not.
David Thomas wins the game on the back of Batterskull, and now I think we'll see Joseph Obed reach for his sideboard. He might have realized his mistake. I have to imagine we'll see him bring in at least the Revoke Existence here. Maybe even Divine Offering, O-Ring, Ray, Ratchet Bomb. Any of these are reasonable.
I mean, I think Divine Offering is totally reasonable considering of what he's got to face down. Definitely the Revoke Resistance, though.
Yeah, definitely the Revoke that deals with both Curse and Ratchet Bomb.
And I bring
and
an O-Ring
Batterskull.
too. I think that you need to be able to, even though Curse didn't come out that game, you know, there were just so many turns where if he had played a Curse,
yeah, he has to know that the blue-black deck has access to it. I bring in the 1 Revoke and the 1 Oblivion Ring. I don't think I'd bring in the Ray or the Divine Offering just because they're a little too narrow. They don't answer everything.
Yeah, I think the Ray is definitely not good. Divine Offering might be questionable, though. I think he has to know that David is bringing quite a few artifacts in.
Right. The problem is one of the artifacts is Worm Coil, which you don't really want a Divine Offering. It's all right because you get to stop the life gain for 1 turn, but it's usually not quite enough.
And they're shuffling for game 3. I think Dave Thomas feels right now. He obviously feels good for winning the game, but he's got to be nervous.
Yeah,
being on the draw against Tempered Steel.
I don't think he expects to win the 3rd game. He knows it's a tough matchup, but I would feel pretty happy if I were David Thomas to not see any ways to kill that Batter Skull from my opponent game 2.
That's true.
Or Curse.
Yeah. I would feel pretty good as him just winning that 2nd game.
Right.
There are times when especially when you have a bad matchup where when you get that, if you lose your 1st game and you're just feeling like,
how can I win this?
Yeah,
now?
you're at the bottom of the, especially round 1, like
right.
You're
of a 10-round standard.
Yeah, you're at the, you're at your lowest, and then you win game 2, and you're like, all right, well,
now he only has to mull to 4 or something. That's what I think.
You do have that feeling of just like, man, if he just mulligans twice or he mulligans once, and like I get a good hand.
Right, exactly. There's
totally
a lot that
favor.
can happen in one game of Magic.
And Joseph did not play heavily around Black Sun Zenith that 2nd game. He played his whole hand out, which he might have felt was the best way for him to win that game. But
David Thomas was doing mental fist pumps.
Has to hope that happens again.
Yeah. So Joseph Obed, this hand looks all right. I see Signal Pest, Spellskite, Mox Opal, Etch Champion, a land, but no, those last 2 must not have been very good because he'll send it back. I think David Thomas is also mulliganing. So they'll both be on 6 for this game 3.
So who does the mulligan favor more? I know Tempered Steel is not a deck that likes mulliganing.
Yeah, it seems like it should be because it's a linear beatdown deck, but what ends up happening is you just draw too many cards like Memnite, Signal Pest, Origin Spellbomb.
Yeah.
If it doesn't draw one of its action cards like Tempered Steel, Etch Champion, Hero Bladehold, it's really...
Well, then you have cards like Mox Opal,
right,
which, it's very easy to turn on with a 7-card hand. 6-card hand, it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, it gets almost exponentially harder with each mulligan you take.
Right, and so so he draw, if Joseph draws 2 Mox Opals.
Yeah, he'll be almost forced to go to 5 at that point.
Right, or he's got to keep it and just hope that
he gets there. Yeah.
Hope that he gets there. Hope that. But yeah, I like David Thomas more in the mulligan than I like Joseph. He also has a lot more ways to recover that card advantage.
Right. Think twice if he kept them in.
Right.
We know he kept in Forbidden Alchemy.
And his mana, David Thomas is. It's funny that the monocolored, deck has worse mana than the 2-color deck.
Right. Really, the monocolor deck plays 4 Inkmoth Nexus and 2 Cavity Township, so 6 colorless lands. Only 13 color producing lands.
Right, and then of course with 4 Mox Opals, like,
right.
It's the same thing where the deck does not want to draw a lot of land, but then when you mulligan, you get in situations where, if you have a hard time hitting, just 2 lands.
Yeah, that's true.
And it looks like, this seems
that's a lot of land.
That is a lot of lands.
Is one a township? I can't really tell.
It looks like, I can't tell. I think it's a Razorvine thicket.
So 2 Razorridge thicket, 2 plains for Joseph Obed. Not what he wants, but if he draws
like
a
keeping
township,
though.
Yeah, I don't think you can go to 5 here.
Yeah. He just has to draw well. But that means also that all of those Mox Opals are pretty much dead.
Yep. Doesn't need any more mana this game.
Yeah. He needs to actively not draw any more mana.
Okay, so his draw phase was an Inkmoth Nexus. That is one of the best lands to draw if you're going to draw.
I probably would have rather drawn a township personally, but
me too.
He's probably going to play an S champion here.
Yeah, seeing only negates from your opponent in game 2 would make me pretty confident that resolved.
All right, well, S champion resolves.
Yep, swings in for 2, bringing the life totals 18 to 20. David Thomas didn't board out the Think Twice. Will end of turn. I don't know what David Thomas boarded out here.
I don't either. I don't imagine it was the curse, though we haven't seen one yet. And out comes a Phantasmal Image.
Yeah.
Hoping to block that
champion,
X-Champion.
So Joseph Obed drawing another
Inkmoth.
It looks
he
like.
He might just poison him out this game.
Yeah, he also has a Glinthawk idol, so I have to imagine we'll see an idol here and an attack with Inkmoth.
Yeah.
Joseph Obed's only available play, really.
Another idol, wow. And it looks like his hand was 2 Origin Spellbombs. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I thought it was Flash.
I think those might be planes.
Planes? I thought I saw an Origin Spellbomb. Well, it might be Planes Origin Spellbomb.
Maybe.
Or maybe I'm just, blind. One or the other. In it comes.
Edge Champion not coming in.
Down to 16 and 1 poison count. 1P as they call it.
Yep, 1P. So now if David Thomas can land something like a Bloodline Keeper, he'll be in awesome shape.
Awesome shape. This is a game where if he can get that Curse of Death hold,
oh yeah.
It is just going to be brutal.
David Thomas, though, sitting on flashback, think twice in some instance, no Bloodline Keeper.
Probably, much like the last game, he is just playing the Dear God, don't play Tempered Steel, plan.
Right.
Which is not the worst plan.
No, it's not.
Vault Scourge, another. This could be the most brutal curse in the history of curses.
So Vault Scourge comes down, activates 2 Glint Hawk Idols, and it looks like he's going for the Nexus.
Yeah, here they come.
Boom. Swing for 4 and 2 poison. 1/5 of your life total in both cases.
Yeah. Joseph has really drawn well this game. He took an opening hand that was pretty mediocre, but again, when you don't play a lot of lands, you draw a lot of spells.
Right, exactly.
That's why the deck does it.
He only had 13 lands in his deck. He had 4 of them in his hand, so 9 bad lands left to draw, and Mox Opals. Those are really only his bad draws. Oh, and that was a curse. Off screen, but that was a curse. So Joseph Obed's Glint Hawk Idols down to 1/1.
Yeah, now he does have an opportunity if he draws Tempered Steel to land that and just pretty much steal this game.
Yeah, that would just destroy David Thomas.
Yeah.
We'll see if Joseph can do it.
Now, the fact that he did not immediately throw down Tempered Steel means he probably does not have it.
Yeah, I would have slammed it where I am.
But, he gets to, he can swing for 2 with those 2 1/1 Glint Hawk Idols, and that looks to be what's happening. Yep, they're coming in. Down to 12 and 3P. P becoming less and less relevant.
Yep. Will only become relevant if Joseph draws Grave Revelation, O-Ring, Revoke, or Tempered Steel.
Which is a lot of cards to draw, in fairness.
I just hope that Joseph sided those in.
Yeah, hopefully he sided something to deal that curse.
Yeah.
Because being under the curse for Tempered Steel is not fun.
No. So David Thomas just has 6 lands, ships the turn back, has a Think Twice available in his graveyard.
Yep, coming in with those 2 idols. Threatening to take David into 8.
Yep, whittling that life total.
David has so many cards in his hand. What does he have? Let's see.
Nothing. So just flashes back.
Yeah. He just milled himself, actually.
Oh, he milled himself. Okay.
That's what it looked like.
Huh.
Tap 4 for something.
Might be trying to find a flashback Forbidden Alchemy.
Yep. Or, if he has a Snapcaster in hand, he just needs something to Snapcast.
Yeah. Glint Hawk Idol is just one of those problem cards for blue-black control. It's pretty much David has to find a flying blocker, a Batterskull, or a Tragic Slip.
Every turn, he is, David's in a weird position because if he has a Mana Leak, it's not going to do anything against Tempered Steel.
No, and there's a Tragic Slip.
Yeah.
Sorry.
David needs, he's in a position where, in a third ink pot, if Joseph can resolve the Tempered Steel.
Yeah,
that's pretty scary. So David is in a very precarious situation.
So Alchemy flashes back, or was that a mill? That was a mill. David Thomas is just milling himself.
And he is thinking.
Right now, if you're just tuning in, that Phantasmal Image is an Etch Champion.
Liliana.
Wow, so he did keep in Liliana. I have no idea what he sided out.
And that should probably take out the S champion.
Yes.
He could +1 it. Does Joseph have any cards in his hand?
I don't think he does, no. So
he is +1.
He does +1 it, and I guess
he does have a card.
He does have a card.
2 cards.
Hard to see what those are.
Yeah, I do not know what he discarded there. So, So the question now is, does David go after that Liliana or not? Oh, and he's going. Joseph goes straight at David.
Yeah, I think that attacking the Liliana here is just counterproductive. Yeah, I don't think it'll do a lot.
The downside. Oh boy, that mill was Worm Coil, Liliana, and a Bloodline Keeper.
Yeah, so 2 cards David Thomas would have loved to have had.
That was not the mill he was looking for.
No. I'm surprised David Thomas is really milling himself here. I think he still has that Think Twice in his graveyard.
Now, they did just call time. I don't know if they have an extension for this or not. They do have an extension? All right. So we have,
Yeah, and for everyone saying on Twitter that we have to zoom out the camera, that will be fixed before the next round. We're working on that for you. Hard to do that mid-match.
Yeah, just tell those guys, get up, move, we're going to...
Yeah, exactly.
Give me a second here. Yeah, it looks like that going, again, just attacking David Thomas. And David Thomas, he's not drawing any action, so...
No, that Liliana's ticking up, though, and eventually...
Yeah. At some point, he's going to have to start attacking the Liliana, just because, he's not going to be able to beat an ultimate.
Right. And I have to imagine that'll be this turn.
But it actually will it? Like, does ultimate Liliana even do anything?
Well, he can split it something like 3 Inkmoth Nexus, Glint Hawk Idol, and the rest. Something like that.
That might be favorable. Well, I'm saying it's favorable, but maybe that's not too bad for.
Wouldn't be the worst.
Joseph.
Obed did just draw a Mox Opal for his turn, so he will have something to turn on that idol.
I mean, as long as he's not drawing, as long as David's not playing any threats.
Yep, and it goes up to 7.
Yep, he is now. It is now. Next turn, Liliana can do her thing.
Yeah.
An ability I think I have yet to actually see resolve.
Huh. It'll definitely resolve this game. The game won't just be over if it does resolve.
Yeah. You usually these Planeswalkers where the ability resolves, and that's just kind of, they may not say win the game, but it's pretty similar. But
this is Tempered Steel Mana, I think.
It does look like that.
Boom.
Now, I have to imagine David Thomas has a Snapcaster and is going to negate that. He just milled so many cards.
Right.
I can't imagine any reason you'd want to mill that many cards.
So it looks like Mana Leak.
Mana Leak
is paid for, and now we'll see another Mana Leak or a Snapcaster on Mana Leak here. Another Mana Leak. Yep. So David Thomas, looks like he had the full 6 counters post-board.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is playing the I do not want to see a Temper Steel on the board game.
No, but on the draw, that just seems so rough.
It seems risky. And Joseph, deciding where to go with that Glint Hawk Idol, and it looks like it's going towards David's face.
Yeah, so David Thomas drops to 4.
And now, if he wishes, he can activate Liliana.
And there it is.
He does.
And scoops up the permanents, has to decide how best to factor fiction these. Looks like lands v spells.
Ooh.
Yep, lands v spells.
That is rough.
So if you're Joseph Obed here, what do you do?
I think you take. I think you almost just have to take. You have to take spells.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that David Thomas put the Mox Opal with the spells because that gives him Metalcraft.
Right.
I would have done that a little differently.
I think you just give him basically idle or nothing.
So there's Vault Scourge.
Vault Scourge.
Paying 2 life, Joseph Obed drops to 16, but more importantly activates that idol, and I have to imagine that'll kill. No, I thought it would kill Liliana.
I think that he sees David taking David at 2.
Right. Actually,
that's what he's worried about.
That does give him lethal.
And now it's a situation where the Liliana's sack ability is not going to kill.
Right.
How did that Vault Scourge die? It must have been Tragic Slip.
I think it was a Tragic Slip. So, idol activates, attacks David Thomas to 1. No! He drew another Tragic Slip.
Oh boy.
So now this game is just about over here for Joseph Obed. He got David Thomas to 2.
The question is, how? I don't know how long this extension is.
That's a good point.
Can David win in the time allowed for this extension?
Yeah, they had an 8-minute extension. So right now, I think we're... Let's see.
Probably has about 5 minutes to win. They've been playing, playing pretty quick all game, but David Thomas needs to have some sort of win condition, and look like he's on the mill plan.
Yeah, so he's milling 6 a turn.
So how quickly can that 6 a turn win?
Yeah.
Now we can also use Liliana to sack it, make him sack his S champion, and get in there for 2 damage also.
That looks like exactly what's happening.
So he's attacking on all fronts.
The first time that that either edge champion has entered the red zone.
Ooh, a Glint Hawk Memnite.
Memnite gets Snapcaster.
Counterspell.
Yep.
And it looked like Joseph had a Good Hawk in his hand.
It does look like David Thomas will be able to finish this game out.
Yeah.
Liliana will be able to make him sack
+1
any
here for that
creature.
Good Hawk, and
Yeah.
Joseph is in pretty bad shape.
So hard fought by Tempered Steel. Got David Thomas to 2 and 3 poison, but
Yeah,
Liliana.
every game he really got close.
Yeah. Well, the Liliana Ultimate destroyed all of Joseph Obed's lands, and I think he made the right choice there. I think he had to take the spells, but
Yeah, you really do have to. It just, there's no good way to split that.
right,
And a Bloodline Keeper, yeah, he is just turboing this out.
very dead is Joseph Obed. And David Thomas,
And handshake.
I have to say, David Thomas, I feel like he got a little lucky to beat that Tempered Steel deck.
No, I think that any time Black Control beats Tempered Steel, they're going to have to get a little lucky.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I think that there were some sideboard decisions that may have been unorthodox,
Yep.
and I think most of those worked in David Thomas's favor.
Yeah, me
You know.
too. The fact that